How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I'm going to show you the location of this white Western Star, the upgrades for it, and also a couple of tips and stuff on how to get it basically back to the main road, because there's like these rocks that are sort of pretty narrow. It's a bit awkward, so it can be a bit of a pain in the arse, but I've got a few tips to make it easier. So if I start from the garage, if you just need to know where it is, it's basically on this island connected to like the right hand side of the dam. So from the garage, you basically want to turn right out the garage, come down past the farm, and yeah, just before you get to the dam, turn off the road, and it's basically in these trees. You can see where the trees go from brown to green. There's like, it's the last turning before you get to the dam. I've purposely made the line miss this bit because this is the difficult bit. There's like a set of rocks there, and obviously it's also a pretty steep hill, and you got to get around a corner. So it can be a little bit of a pain in the arse. So I'll show you quickly getting it to there, but I'll show you a couple of trucks, and I'm only going to do that bit for the different truck demos, otherwise the video is going to be like 2 hours long. So yeah, like I say, it's between those trees. It is pretty damn easy to see, especially that it's a mission, so we'll get flying there. I won't go all the way, but I remember the junction. Had to slam her on at the last second. She made it though. I just wanted to try this truck, give it a go. I was telling someone the other day that I personally I'd recommend selling this, and they said they're gonna try and stick with it, so I thought fair play, I respect it. So I went and stuck some upgrades on mine and give it a little test. It's better than it is stock, but it's definitely no end game truck. Anyway, that was the hill we just went down that we're gonna have to get up. I cut ahead a bit across the river, get to this big tree that looks like it's going into autumn, whereas the trees next to it are all still green. Yeah, there's a big box, yellow box here that'll be the mission, so it's pretty easy to see. And there she is. When you actually find it, it's completely damaged, got broken engine, flat tyres, the lot. You could bring something. That's the route we're going to have to get it out. Once you're on the main road, it's not too bad. Get it back to there. You could bring something to repair it, but there's a mission called Broken Horse, a trophy, sorry, called Broken Horse, where you have to drive a truck with flat tyres. So if you can help it, it's kind of worth not fixing the tyres at least. I just towed the whole thing broken, but yeah, I'll get to the trophy thing later. But if you can keep the tyres flat, it'll save you some effort later to get that trophy. So again, I'll tow it to here quickly, but again, for the rest of like the clips, it'll just be that little hill part. I'm just using this to tow it there. I used this to get it down here just before I started recording, really, but this can manage it pretty damn easily. Just another point as well, I've emptied mine, it's got no fuel in it, so even though I honestly tried to pop the tyres, tried ramming barriers and everything, but one time you don't want to, the one time you want to pop a tyre, it won't happen. But it's dead weight, and I really don't think flat tyres would make a difference, because we're not going very fast or anything, and again, it's no engine or anything. This truck, just quickly by the way, it's about 110 grand all in, with upgrades, so you could buy it and sell it afterwards. If you found some other truck like the Western Star Twin Steer and you just sold that, you'll have enough for this. By the way, when you actually sell trucks that have got upgrades on, you don't get all your money back. And I won't go into details because I've got a tips video, there's quite a few things that are worth knowing, but basically the short story is, you might put a new engine on this truck and obviously remove the stock engine. You still have that stock engine, and that might even be an upgrade for a different truck. So you don't get all your money back, but you've got parts in your garage, so if you definitely want all your money back, just go and sell all the parts back separately, put the stock parts back on, and then you will get every penny back. But like I say, stay tuned for a tips video, and I'll explain it, because there's a couple of things that are worth going. So that's basically, once you're across all that mud, you're basically where you want to be. And there's just to show you quickly, it is out of fuel. And first tip is this, when you're winching to it, winch to, you don't want to winch to that side, winch to the right side as you look at it, the left side if you're kind of in it, because when you're going to pull it up this hill, it's banking to the left, and there's rocks that are like really close to the road, big rocks like boulders, and when you're towing it, obviously if you tow it from the other side, it can drift to the left a bit. If you attach the winch to that side, it at least tries to keep it to the right of my truck rather than just letting it drift off to the left. So anyway, I'm only going to drive just up the hill 10 seconds, but the video was pretty damn long, and I was trying to cut unnecessary bits out. So yeah, this is the hill, or this is the section I should say. It is a hill, but this is the little bit that's gonna, you won't have too much trouble getting it here, If you struggle with the water bit and that before, by the way, then you're going to need something else, because this bit's harder than the water bit. So as you can see here, it's these rocks. These are going to be the main problem, and it does tilt to the left. So as you can see, winching the truck from that side. Even this truck isn't really struggling, but they've put little rocks on the floor and all sorts that once your tyre bumps over it, you kind of need to jiggle around a bit. And this is just an example of like what you've actually got to do, but I'm going to show you, obviously this truck is relatively OP compared to what you're probably going to have. But I just wanted to show this as well. You don't have to try and make the rocks and the corner in one. Just do a 2-stage mission, drag it forwards even if you drive into those trees, and then unwinch it. Yeah, get back on the road. Because sometimes trying to get through them rocks and make it round the corner, you'll pull that truck in tight on the corner, and it's like, it now gets even steeper and everything. As you can see there, this truck is pretty powerful, so if you did have the money, or you've just found like something else and sold it, you could buy this for half an hour and sell it back afterwards. But so basically, like I say, I've now done it without. I'm parking it back here. I'm not going to do the whole journey every time, but as you can see, the rock's just there. So we're going to test a few trucks out and see what works, what doesn't. Learn a few tips that might help you. So again, I'm not going to leave it long on this one because not everybody has it really, but the Navistar did do it, but I did like a 2-stage bit where I drove forward at first, just through the trees. This thing, I tried it, but honestly, not a chance. Not a chance. And just in case you think, well, maybe, it's like, this is now not even winched to anything. It couldn't even get itself up. Try the ANK, I was like, don't you do it, ANK. Not now. Good lad. Thought about it. So anyway, obviously what I did the first time, I actually did this mission in real life. I managed to tow it here with the Fleet Star, but I couldn't get it any further, and I reversed the cat down to the other side of those rocks, and I was able to winch it, and I got it out with the cat, but I wouldn't really recommend the cat unless you've got it there, because the cat won't fit through those rocks anyway. So the ANK, I wanted to give it a go. Quite a few of you should have it. It depends really what order you do the maps in. To some of you, this is like a really early game truck. To other people, you might have gone on to Alaska and Russia and everything, and you might have come back to this map a lot later. But the ANK, it's a little bit slow. This mission's definitely no joke. This is where the difficulty curve jumped up a bit, but the ANK, I never had any doubts. So you've got to be potentially a bit quick there. I only cut this tiny bit out because I clipped the tree, but that's basically an unedited run through. And yeah, once you're here, you're laughing. If you get to this point, the road's just up there. So next is the Royal, which you find on Northport, so a lot of you will probably have this. And this one, there was moments it wasn't too happy about it, but as you see, there's if you're struggling to actually just winch it along, you can do it the old-fashioned way and just keep moving forward, winching it. And right now, I'm not trying to drive forward, I'm just trying not to slip back, but as you can see, I let off the accelerator, sort of feed myself back towards the truck with the winch, and just because this particular bit of ground is nice and grippy, I can just keep going back and forth like this, hoovering the winch in the whole time so it's shortening it. And yeah, that got it. Every now and then it just gets its wheel caught on a rock and stuff, and it takes a little bit of encouragement to get her moving. But yeah, again, like, rather than winching it slow as hell, winch it from that side so it doesn't quite pull it over as far to the right as we're looking at it. Yeah, it says starting engine there, but it is out of fuel. But again, I have got tyres. But I honestly, I think that makes less difference than if the engine was running. And if you did take a repair kit, I'm pretty sure you could fix all the engine and it would... It doesn't always work on this game. Usually when you tow something, it starts the engine. But that Derry Longhorn, every now and then it didn't do it either when I did that mission. But anyway, as you can see, it definitely took a bit more wrestling her around. That inside gap, inside sort of ledge, as you can see, that's what's giving me the trouble. But to be fair, it made it round. It did it. It's not a bad little truck, the BM Royal thing, but it rolls a bit easy. But it's pretty damn quick. They get a bad rap for rolling, but they're quick enough to roll, that and the ANK. So anyway, next up is the Fleet Star. For this one I put a low range gearbox in, just because I knew I'd be putting the diff on and that, but I think you could do it with a high range gearbox. It wasn't too happy either, but there was moments where it was actually moving ahead anyway while I was winching and driving. But essentially did the same thing, just kept stopping, winching it in a bit, moving forward. I adjusted myself a bit because it was clipping the wheel on that rock. I kind of drove forward and came around the corner, so I know it'd pull it more on that angle. Definitely doesn't roll much because that ANK and a lot of trucks would have gone over them. So the Fleet Star is actually pretty good for not flipping. So yeah, in the end I gave up trying to sort of do it in one. Do the 2-stage recovery. Got it to there by winching, and then tell you what, when you let the handbrake off the Fleet Star, it rolls back pretty bloody quick, so it might be worth getting it in gear before you let the handbrake off. I nearly knocked it, like rolling it backwards through the rocks again. But yeah, Fleet Star's another one. Took a little bit of fighting, wasn't as quick as the ANK or anything, but you should definitely have the Fleet Star because it's outside the Black River garage, unless you've sold it. But if you sold it, you should have something that's the equivalent or better, I would hope. And then lastly, there's a couple of reasons I'll show you. I tried this little thing, I'll tell you, this little thing. It's if you haven't got it, you want to get it because it's a little beast. It's one of the most fun vehicles. Not other than the TUZ Tatrin thing. I don't think any other Scout would manage this, but this is why I wanted to show you. You got this tree on the inside. If you're struggling, just reverse up to the tree. Obviously you got to get it close enough so your winch will reach, but this is only an autonomous winch. So I actually think you could possibly do this with a pretty crap Scout vehicle that had at least an upgraded winch on it, and then just keep moving to each tree, wedging yourself behind it. Obviously it's going to be a bit slow. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it if other options are available, and I'm not saying this little beast it's crap. It's a right little whopper. It's I'd say top 3 favourite trucks. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the best, but it isn't crap by any means. It's just fun. But yeah, this little thing actually managed it, which again took a little bit of wrestling, but I had time. Reverse up to this tree. See, again, wedging yourself behind a tree just gets you out of everything. And again, this is the autonomous winch, which I think is one of the weaker winches because it's battery powered and I can use it even when I roll, which I often do in everything. But that's my style of play. I'd rather go 50 mile an hour and then spend 5 minutes flipping myself back over than go 20 mile an hour and be fine. So as you can see, it got up. I actually tried the derry. That axle just... I got it up with the derry, but I had to winch loads of times. It's just a pain in the ass. So once you got it, you got to bring it back to that little building where your garage is, basically. But it'll tell you to drop it off here. And like I say, the reason I mentioned about preferably keeping the tyres damaged if you can, because once you drop it off there, that's it, mission complete and it's yours. You could now jump in it and just recover to the garage. But yeah, that broken horse mission, you need to drive like a kilometre with a truck with all broken wheels. What I did was drive around here and did a little lap, and this is why I'm leaving this in. Don't do what I did, because that is the service area. And I drove through the fucking thing when I was on about 40% through the trophy, fixed everything, and carried on driving here. I was like, bloody hell, this drives well for a truck with no good wheels. And yeah, I ended up having to drag this thing around the quarry sideways for about an hour or two with the TUZ Tatrin, beating the crap out of it, dragging it over every rock I could find until I eventually burst all the tyres and I got the trophy with this. So save yourself that hassle. This is now just remaining here as a trophy and keeping them tyres popped just in case. This is why I don't think burst tyres is going to make a lot of difference. It doesn't really stop you driving, it does keep you pretty slow, but once you tow in a dead weight truck, I don't think any real difference. And if you do take a repair thing and fix the engine, it hopefully should drive and help you. So anyway, that's the location of it though, and there's some options to get it out. Now we'll do the upgrades. So the first one is the engageable all-wheel drive. I'm not going to. There's 7 in total, so I'm not going to do them all from the garage. But there's a road opposite the trailer store, just after the dam, and it's here on the corner. Like I say, that's a engageable all-wheel drive. Second one is also still on Smithville Dam, and this is the raised suspension. That's the entrance to Drummond Island. So just come down this road, head towards the sea or lake or whatever it is, and it's like in sort of the patch of trees. It's like, you'll see it, it's like right near the water really. This one, it's been on like every video so far. It's the off-road gearbox for like half the trucks in the game, but it's on that little beach on Drummond Island. There's the entrance from Island Lake, and it's right next to a watchtower. If you come from Smithville Dam, you're going to have to go the long wiggly route, but yeah, again, that's the off-road gearbox. So the next one is on Black River. I've drawn the line from the garage. There's the fuel station. This bridge, you should have fixed it by now, it's doubtful, but if not, you can go around to the left, but you most likely should have. There's also possibly boulders blocking that road. And yeah, there's the drilling site basically. There's not too many good reference points, but there's these like uninhabited islands that are not really doing a lot. And you're going to cut through these trees. I'll remove this line because you can't really tell, but there's like a convenient little line cut through the trees really. And yeah, just drive over here. The water's not too deep or anything, it's not going to be anything too serious to get. And I think it shows up as well as an upgrade, it's not like a hidden one or anything. This one on Island Lake, it's only the medium engine, so you could skip, if you haven't gone to medium lake, those bridges might be out, so you might have to go around that way, but basically, past the sawmill, take this left turn in, and then you can see the road sort of disappears, but it starts again through the trees. I didn't draw a line again because it covers the road. Again, there's the entrance, there's a sawmill. It's just at the top of these cliffs, they're pretty easy to see on the map. But again, it's the medium engine, so you don't necessarily need it. Now this one, it's been on nearly every video. This is the high range gearbox, Mountain River, take the road opposite the petrol station. It's the main road, you should know where it is. And then yeah, cut across into here a bit. You can see the pipeline, there's like a little pipeline bridge. And then the last one, stick on the main road, go past the petrol station this time, take your last right before you can see the entrance to Pedro Bay. And then when you're coming down here, take your first left. And there's like this little building or factory thing, whatever it is, and it's just drive down alongside it, and it's behind it, it's easy, it's on the road, there's no off-roading. And that's the best engine, so again, you don't really need the Island Lake one. So yeah, that's about it for today. Sorry the video's a bit long, I was trying to keep it as short as I could, but that's the location, a couple of tips and trucks that will get it out, and all 7 upgrade locations. And tomorrow I'll put her through her paces, I'll show you all the customization options, and we'll see how she handles. I'll send her through the assault course. So that's it for today, I hope that helps. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.